The fisherman thought it was a bag of trash. Half submerged, caught between two rocks at the edge of Lake Morrow, Oregon. He almost kept walking. Almost. When he got closer, he saw the hand. He called 911 at 5:43 a.m. By 6:15, the entire shoreline was sealed off. By 7 o'clock, investigators had pulled not one body from that lake, but 3. All women, all bound at the wrists, all wrapped in the same black contractor bags. Same knot, same tape, same method. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was a system. And somewhere less than 2 miles from that shoreline, the man who built that system was sitting down to breakfast. Crestwood County, Oregon. August 2021. A rural stretch of highway-dense forest and a lake locals used for weekend fishing and summer cabins. The 3 victims were identified within 48 hours. Michelle Tarver, 31 waitress, reported missing 11 days earlier. Dana Kowalski, 27, graduate student, missing for 3 weeks. And Amy Solis, 34, nurse, whose husband had filed a missing persons report 6 weeks ago and been told by local police there wasn't enough to investigate yet. 3 women, 3 different lives, 0 obvious connection to each other, except one. They had all been seen in the last weeks of their lives at the same place, Harlow's Bar and Grill, Route 9, Crestwood County. A roadside bar with a jukebox, cheap beer, and a owner named Curtis Harlow, who everybody in the county knew by first name. Curtis Harlow was 52, widower, owned the bar for 19 years, coached a local youth fishing team, brought food to elderly neighbors during winter, the kind of man small towns build their identity around. Investigators pulled security footage from Harlow's bar. Michelle Tarver, there 11 days before her body was found, sitting at the bar, talking to Curtis, leaving alone at closing time. Dana Kowalski, there 18 days before her body surfaced. Same bar stool, same conversation, same closing time departure. Amy Solis, there 5 weeks before she was reported missing. Curtis personally walked her to her car after her friends left early. When Detective Nora Shaw brought Curtis in for questioning, he was cooperative. Warm, even offered coffee, said he remembered all 3 women, said they had been regulars, said it was a tragedy, said he hoped they caught whoever did it. He looked Detective Shaw directly in the eyes the entire time, never flinched once. The forensic team hit the first wall immediately. No DNA at the lake, no fingerprints, no tire tracks. Whoever dumped those bodies had been meticulous, clinical, the kind of careful that comes from practice, not panic. But Dana Kowalski had been careful too. Dana was a criminology graduate student, and she had been keeping a private journal backed up to a cloud account. Her roommate knew the password too. The last 3 entries described a man she had met at a bar on Route 9, didn't give his name, but described him as charming, persistent, and in her final entry, dated the night she disappeared. He keeps asking me to see his lake house. Something feels off, but I can't explain why. A lake house. Detective Shaw pulled property records for every residence. Within 2 miles of Lake Morrow, 11 properties. 1 owner stood out. Curtis Harlow had purchased a secondary property, a cabin on the north shore of Lake Morrow, 14 months ago. Cash transaction. The search warrant was executed at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. What investigators found inside that cabin rewrote everything they thought they knew about Curtis Harlow. A basement room, soundproofed, lock on the outside. Photographs on the wall, dozens of them. women taken without their knowledge, in the bar, in parking lots, through windows. Michelle, Dana, Amy, and 7 other women investigators did not yet recognize a handwritten ledger, dates, names, locations, organized, numbered. Michelle was number 8. Dana was number 9. Amy was number 10. The ledger went back for years. Curtis Harlow was arrested in the parking lot of his own bar at 8:23 a.m. He was unlocking the front door for the morning, keys in hand, coffee cup on the hood of his truck. When Detective Shaw told him what they had found, he set his coffee down very carefully, straightened his jacket, and said, "I want my lawyer." Not surprised, not devastated, not confused, just ready, like he had been waiting for that morning for a long time. The trial lasted 14 days. The ledger identified 10 victims total. 3 recovered from Lake Morrow. 4 discovered in subsequent searches of forest land adjacent to his cabin. 3 whose remains have never been found. Curtis Harlow was convicted on 7 counts of first-degree murder, sentenced to life without parole on each count consecutive. He will die in prison. The bar on Route 9 was demolished 6 months after the verdict. The foundation is still there. 7 families got answers. 3 families are still waiting. The investigators who worked this case still drive past Lake Morrow sometimes. Detective Nora Shaw said in an interview after the trial, "The scariest thing about Curtis Harlow wasn't what he did. It was how long he did it, while everyone around him saw something completely different. 19 years. He ran that bar for 19 years, coached those kids, brought food to those neighbors, waved at those passing cars, and nobody, not one person in that county, ever looked at Curtis Harlow and felt afraid. That is the most disturbing truth of this entire case. Evil doesn't always look like evil. Sometimes it looks like the most familiar face in the room." Subscribe for more true crime disturbing story in every week.